All right. We are live for another episode of the Tempest Rising podcast. I believe this is currently streaming onto Facebook. There's been some issues recently with live streams, internet bandwidth and all kinds of crazy stuff. So if you are struggling with this one, please feel free to listen to it on SoundCloud as soon as it goes up when I've finished. So today's episode, feelings don't have consequences. So throughout your life, you're going to find yourself exposed to extremes of emotion. There's going to be times where things are really good. There's going to be times when things are going to be really bad. There's going to be times where you're feeling things on a really high level, and then there's going to be times where things feel really muted. Let me take my glasses off. Actually, if I look down like that, that shouldn't bother you guys that are watching. There's going to be a time when things are really muted, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, that's completely normal. It's human to feel, and it's human to go on these extremes of emotions. It's okay to feel whatever it is you're feeling, and it's okay to not understand it, or to not like it, or to not want to feel at all. At the end of the day, feeling is human. It's expected. It's how we work. It's how our body understands what the brain is telling it. So even when you say, I feel nothing, an absence of feeling is still a feeling. You cannot get away from it. So I want you to understand that it's okay to feel. It can mean something, it can mean nothing. It's just energy moving through the body based on what the brain has told it. But what's not okay is to let your feelings, or lack of, become so overbearing that they allow you to behave like a complete dickhead. Feelings don't hurt people. They don't have consequences, but actions at the results of those feelings, they hurt people, and yourself included. I watch a lot of crime documentaries and murder documentaries and all that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, if you happen to be looking for things to watch on Netflix, there is a film based on a true story called Lost Girls. Don't bother watching it. It's basically about the Long Island serial killer. A girl goes missing and the mother goes on a mission to try and find out what happened to her. And they find a bunch of bodies and so on and so forth. Just Google it and read the actual story, because the real story is much deeper and more complex than the Netflix film. And it will take you less time to read about what actually happened than to watch the film. And you'll enjoy reading about it more than watching the film, because it wasn't very good. Anyway. If you've ever watched or read about crimes, you'll have heard of something called a crime of passion. And it's what they define, whatever the word I'm looking for is. They define a crime that has happened in the heat of a moment. So it's not been planned. It's just something that someone has done based on an intense emotional experience. Okay, so they've gone through this situation, something has happened, and they've experienced intense emotions, so much so that they've reacted, they've done something. Okay, they've had this experience, the body's been flooded with all this energetic feedback in the form of feelings, and then they've just reacted, they've done something. And in many instances, that reaction has lifelong consequences for them and anyone else involved. So rather than acknowledging their feelings and letting them be, they've acted on them without thought, without any, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain's not working very well today, guys. Sorry. Any consideration, that's the word, any consideration, or, about what would be an appropriate reaction to how they're feeling. I often get told that I'm infuriating to live with because I don't react to stuff, which is true, because I've learnt through training to stop those knee-jerk reactions and to allow myself to feel fully, but without reacting. If you rewind 10 years ago and you saw me on a golf club, you'd see me snapping clubs across my knees and helicoptering golf clubs down the fairway, because I never had that ability to feel and then just let it go. Whereas now I can do that, and it creates a completely different perspective, a completely different way of living. So once the feelings have actually passed and that initial moment has gone, then we become able to choose what action to take. And this is what differentiates people who do really well in life and those that don't. It was the difference between me on the golf course and someone who could actually perform. There's me. I've hooked my ball off the tee. I'm in the shit, and I'm just reacting, snapping my club and lobbing it away, rather than letting it go and saying, right, what can I do next? Somebody who had the ability to do that would have stepped up to their next shot and made something better of it, and they probably would have ended up finishing the hole with a decent score, whereas I've walked off with a frigging 8 or 9 or something, and then I've let that have a knock-on effect for the rest of the round and basically ruined it. So there is a huge difference between feeling and reacting, and then feeling and acting. Okay, huge difference in the results that you get. Reaction takes away choice, whereas action is the result of choice. Okay, the difference between the two is massive. Hopefully you're understanding this, because I know I'm waffling a little bit today. So the reality of your life is you always have choice around your actions. And when you take that option, you make a choice, you become a creator, and you can create whatever it is you've chosen. Whereas if you're reacting, it's a completely different story. So my question for you today is this: are you an active creator in your life, or are you a reactive participant? You can own your life and have it all, or you can be owned and struggle forever. It's a real big distinction. And it comes down to whether you act or react based on your thoughts and feelings. Okay, so you'll have the feelings, and that's fine. Have them. You are human. You are allowed to feel, but make a choice to act rather than react. Reacting is dangerous. Acting is what gets results. Okay. If you want to take some decisive action today, follow the link that I'm going to put in the comments and join us in the Limitless group, and you can watch the seminar that I gave over the weekend, because it'll expand on this and it'll show you some methods for clearing the mind and expanding the emotions and all that kind of stuff. So the link is going up just now. Is this making sense, by the way, Heidi? I know I'm waffling today. I'm not my usual eloquent self. The podcast is a day late. I do apologise for that. It's normally on a Tuesday, but I've been feeling a bit off since the weekend. And I thought yesterday it would be better to do things that didn't involve being on a camera or having to be remotely human. So hopefully this makes sense for you all. I will be live again tomorrow, and we'll be covering episode 7 of the Struggle series, and I'm going to be talking about worrying. Okay. We've already done one on anxiety, but I want to get a bit more specific into worrying as a topic. So, answer the question: are you an active creator or a reactive participant in your life? And then go join us in the group. That's everything for today, guys. As I said, I'll be back tomorrow for episode 7 of the Struggle series. Just let me know how you're all doing. Hopefully you're all staying safe and staying sane during the lockdown and the quarantine. If you are struggling, just get in the group. There's loads of stuff for you to do in there, so you can come out of this better and stronger. I will see you all tomorrow.